On November 12th, the UFC comes to New York City for the first time. The MMA giant is hosting a fight night at the Big Apple at Madison Square Garden. Taking part in that event is welterweight Kelvin Gastelum, who is here with us today. Welcome. Thanks so much for coming.
It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be in New York.
Yeah,
so
well, I'm
excited to be a part of the first show here, so it'll be good.
It's cool. So this is the first UFC fight in New York since the state lifted its ban on the MMA. What do you think that means for the sport to be able to play at venues like Madison Square Garden?
Oh, God. I mean, this is probably one of the biggest venues in the world, so to be able to be competing there, you know, Ali competed there, Mike Tyson, some of the best athletes that we've known have competed there, so it's a big deal that we're actually here, and the sport, you know, is growing and it's going more mainstream every day.
How did you get started in the sport?
I started wrestling when I was young, and you know, I had, and then slowly just kind of went into MMA. You know, I went to MMA and went to boxing, and then I had my first fight at 17 years old, and kind of took off from there.
And here we are. So, Kelvin, you're facing Donald Cerrone, who has looked good and great, switching to the 170-pound catchment. So, how are you approaching this fight?
You know, he's a good fighter. He's a good fighter, but I know. And he's a very well-known fighter. I'm the guy that nobody really knows yet. But I think after November 12th, people are going to see my style. They're going to like my style, and they're going to know me. You know. But I think I match up very well with him. He's coming up from lightweight. You know, he's coming up a weight class into my weight class. So he's in for some trouble. You know. And November 12th, we're going to settle it.
All right. So the main event for UFC 205 is Conor McGregor against Eddie Alvarez, and somebody like McGregor, a publicity seeker who sucks all the oxygen out of the room. Is he good for UFC and for the MMA? You
know, I respect what he's done for the sport, because he's taken the sport into you know, higher depths, I guess you could say. He's taken it. He's introduced the sport to a whole other audience that we haven't had before. So it's making the sport grow, which is good for me, good for everybody. But at the same time, I don't like his, I guess his antics. You know, the way he carries himself. He's a loudmouth. That's definitely not my style. And you know, that's just how it is. It is what it is.
So, all right. So that said, he's a loudmouth. What do you what's your advice for young men who want to get into the sport of MMA?
Well, just like anything worth doing is hard. And a lot of people ask me, how do you get to where you want to be? I'm like, listen, you just got to put in the hours, just like anything, you know what I mean? You just got to put in the work and believe in yourself. That's it.
All right. Well, cool. Thank you so much for coming in today. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for being here today. Keep it on FoxNewsLatino.com for all your MMA coverage.